Okay, this is a book review. Here is the book. It's called Our Toxic World. The author's name is Doris Rapp. She's a lady doctor, board certified in environmental medicine, pediatrics, and allergies. So she's a pretty smart lady, knows a lot. First of all, I'll just show you her mentor. Her mentor was this Dr. Randolph Theron. And he was a Harvard-trained guy who was real bright in allergy, and he recognized some patients were having these different chemical sensitivities, and he simply researched out what they were sensitive to and told them to avoid it. It sounds like a pretty simple thing, but this was a controversial thing back in the 1940s, and he was fired from Northwestern University. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, and that's one thing you should know is when a doctor comes along and does something better, they don't get celebrated in the conventional medicine. They get in trouble. Conventional medicine does not want to cure patients. It's bizarre, but it's true. And you as a patient need to know that because otherwise you're going to be in for big surprises. It's okay to cure you of, let's say, an obstructed kidney. I used to put in kidney drainage tube, percutaneous nephrostomies. It's okay to remove a kidney stone. Those are acute diseases. Those acute one-time things, cure. Okay, it's very good at that. It's actually really good at that. But chronic things, it's weird. Like all these internal medicine problems, they just want you hooked on drugs. Okay, so anyways, what's this book good for? Actually, the book is really good for one thing. Let's say somebody's sick, nobody knows why, and you think it's a chemical exposure. This book is really long and thick. It's an old book in the sense 2004, but it's got meticulous, detailed lists of things. What could you be exposed to inside your house? What could you be exposed to outdoors? What could your kid be exposed to at school? And actually, I think all parents should go to their schools and walk around and see if there's anything bad their kid might be exposed to. You might not be able to tell, but I can assure you from this book, it's worth doing that. I think looking back, I think I was lucky that I didn't have more problems given all the stuff she talked about in this book. Always try to figure out, when did you feel sick? What were you doing? What did you touch? What did you smell? What did you eat at that time? Because she systematically has all these sick people and methodically goes through with them what could have happened. And they often figure it out. Sometimes they don't, but they often do. She goes through what you need to know when you're buying a new house to avoid sick building syndrome. All this stuff got a lot worse after World War I with all the chemicals being used, industrialization of the chemical supply. It's different in certain states. It'll be worse, let's say, in a hot state. There'll be more insect-related stuff. All these things are bad, like treated wood, termite sprayed stuff, sick building syndrome, all that stuff. Multiple chemical sensitivities are much more common in women. About 80% are females, just like females get about 80% of autoimmune disease. Their immune system is more hyped up. That's why they might suffer less from colds or something like that. But it can cause problems for them. Volatile organic chemicals, anything that goes from liquid to solid is bad. And this is a lot of things, you'd be surprised. Paints, liquid paper, inks, glues, nail polish, marker pens. I would stay out of nail salons, okay? Nail salons, it's almost like something women do for each other. And men don't like long fingernails. They're almost like scared. Is she going to scratch me or something? If you want to paint them, fine. But don't have those long, scary-looking fingernails. They creep us out. We don't like them. Let's see, what else? Perfume's bad. It's like painting yourself with a smelly paint. Marker pens, bad. Anything that smells kind of strange or strong is bad for you. You got a nose for a reason. Pay attention to it. Cleaning chemicals, bad. Waxes, carpet soaps, detergents, all bad. Pesticides, mothballs, flea shampoo, DEET, all that stuff's bad. Anything that hurts bugs hurts people. Petroleum chemicals, including the food dyes, all these petroleum-based solvents, the benzenes, the hexane's common in processing soy, dry cleaner stuff, trichloroethylene, liquid papers, toluene. These industrial chemicals, you want to stay away from them. We're not made for that. Some of them are amphiphilic, can travel through both lipids and aqueous solutions. A lot of feminizing chemicals. She writes quite a bit about that, and she was ahead of her time to be so aware of that back in 2004. The phthalates and the atrazine. Like, for example, I wouldn't play golf. I know what am I getting at? If you had to ask me what's a good sport for a kid, let's say in high school, I liked it when we used to run through the woods. I ran cross country. I liked wrestling. You're in the wrestling room. I like tennis. I don't like golf though, because they spray the crap out of the golf courses, and you got to sit there and breathe it while you're over there. I don't like that. She talks about lots of kids being feminized. Their mothers, when pregnant, are exposed to these estrogenic chemicals, and kids being born with smaller Johnsons. And so that's a bigger problem, she said, than is widely realized. We talked about that before, the atrazines, the plastics, the phthalates, the plastic conditioners. You need to filter your water. That's really not optional if you want to be healthy. The PCBs, which are very common in the Great Lakes between the Midwest and Canada, have often very high levels of PCBs. You don't want to be eating fish from those places. Because the PCBs are associated with lowering IQ. Okay, and there's PCBs in the water. Municipal filtration, they don't do carbon filtering. It's too expensive, they say. So anyways, you got F minus lowering IQ, you got AL lowering IQ, and you got PCBs. All three of these things are in regular municipal tap water, lowering IQs. And then you also got these estrogenic chemicals, OCPs, oral contraceptive pills in the water, feminizing people. Okay, AL is a metallic estrogen. Okay, and there's plenty of other, phthalates and whatnot, BPA in the water. So you really need to filter your water. It's not like a maybe. You have to do that or you're stupid. She also said, it's good to have a book like this, good to go to a specialist for these types of problems, because a regular doctor, regular internal medicine doctor, family practice doctor, she calls it that they work on clock watch medicine, meaning that they have to go fast. And it's true. They've got to get their billing codes for the day. They got to see 30 patients a day, let's say. Otherwise, their bean counter at their clinic's going to get pissed off at them. So they really don't have time to talk to you. It's not a joke. They do not, or they will get in trouble. Okay. The patient is not the priority. Money is the priority. Anybody who thinks a patient is a priority will never understand anything in medicine. Okay, the book also covers food allergies. Some of the things she says sometimes can cause problems. White sugar. I don't know if that's because of rebound hypoglycemia. She also mentions white flour. Those are things others didn't mention too much in white rice. I was a little surprised by that. But, common things, of course, milk, the dairy, corn, eggs, chocolate, the food dyes, artificial sweeteners. She also mentioned coffee and tea. There's some weird herbal teas that I've seen bad reactions from. But anyways, what do I think the book's good for? I think the book's good for if somebody's sick and you want to figure out what it is and you think it's some type of chemical or food exposure. This book, you'll spend a lot of time on it, but it'll give you a lot of ideas. I mean, I don't want to read through these long, boring lists of chemicals, but she goes through a lot of chemical stuff. She's smart and she knows a lot. So anyways, it's a decent book for that purpose. But if you're not interested in that purpose, then there's not going to be much in you for the book, because that's what it's all about. Sophisticated analysis of chemical exposure. So hope that was helpful.